In this video, I want to give you guys some specific tools and products that are not just going to speed up your regular details, but are also kind of secrets that I have used in my maintenance detailing process for years that have made me really, really quick and have helped me scale my maintenance part of my business to really just being one of the most profitable parts of my business. And so when I say maintenance clients, many of you guys already know what I mean, but all I mean is just a client that you see on a regular basis. So you can decide the time frame, but basically it's a time frame within which the car does not get so dirty that you have to actually do a regular detail the next time you see them. So maintenance is just maintaining the vehicle. So the truck interior that you see me doing here is a maintenance client of mine, and you can see how clean it is. So I want you guys to just take note. How clean is this truck before I ever touched the interior, okay? There's basically nothing going on, okay? There's no dirt in here whatsoever. So the first product that I want to highlight here and explain to you how you can use it in your regular detailing process is Optimum No Rinse. You guys already know what that product is, but professionally, I dilute it about 1 capful to every 32-ounce spray bottle of water. So 1 to 32 or 32 to 1, right? 32 ounces of water to 1 ounce of the chemical. Now, the reason I do that is because on the interior, this is a fantastic off-label quick detailer. Well, I like the green bottle of Optimum No Rinse because it's a wash and wax. And so on a vehicle like this, I often will use Optimum No Rinse not just as my protection, but also as my cleaner. The reason is the truck is not dirty enough to even justify using in some areas something like Meguiar's APC or in an APC in general, or even P&S Interior Express Cleaner. Optimum No Rinse, for a few reasons, is what I like to use because, number one, it's protection, okay, so I can do the entire interior. I do not have to leave a protection afterwards. And number two, this is something I don't hear really anybody talk about, but when you are detailing in the sun and you use an all-purpose cleaner on the interior, you guys know it'll often leave cleaning marks the hotter the area is. So it kind of flash dries, or even if you leave a little bit of residue, like you can just kind of see the streak. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, right? You can go clean it up really easily with a multi-purpose dressing. But half of the reason why a detailer has to go to the interior after you've cleaned it and leave a dressing or do some sort of final detailer is because, number one, you're doing protection, right? You're leaving some protection on the interior. But number two, you're getting rid of those cleaning marks that are left over, kind of those streaky marks from some of the areas, maybe the wood veneers, the clear-coated areas around the radio buttons, maybe some of the leather console or the leather seats. You're getting rid of the cleaning marks that were put there from your APC. When you use Optimum No Rinse and you dilute it with distilled water, you can leave a ton of residue behind on any given surface you're working on, with the exception of like a navigation screen, and it is going to flash dry in the sun with no streaks whatsoever. So my point is, I can move quicker in an interior detail, specifically a maintenance detail, with Optimum No Rinse because I don't have to make sure that I'm like buffing the residue off completely with the dry side of my microfiber towel. And when you can do that with the entire interior, all of those tiny little 30-second, parts of the detail where you're buffing it off that you don't have to do adds up to a long time, okay? And so you don't have to do that. You save a crazy amount of time using something like Optimum No Rinse. The other reason why I love it is because it's a single product that I can use on literally every part of the interior barring the fabric, okay? So in other words, I can use it on glass, navigation screen, wood veneers, plastics, leathers, rubbers, vinyl, clear-coated pieces, radio, but like just anything you can think of, I can use it on. Now, I want to give you guys a fourth reason why I like it, and this is something I don't think a lot of people talk about. When you're dealing with a maintenance client like an interior truck that is in this pristine condition, I do not think it is in the best interest of the customer to use an all-purpose cleaner as a detailer, because I think a lot of detailers would look at a video like this and be like, oh, you're not really cleaning it. Well, number one, there are certain areas I am using an all-purpose cleaner on because it needs it, okay? Which will bring me to my next point. But the point here is, I don't want to over-clean an area that is in perfectly new condition with an all-purpose cleaner that's kind of caustic if I don't have to. Because then in some sense you can make an argument like you're wearing down the surface and you don't need to, and you're in the direct sun. Like that would just be silly, right? So segueing into my next point of why I love to use Optimum No Rinse is because I can have Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner, which I do, on standby with me for certain areas of this interior, and I can use that product on those areas and then not skip step and just move to the next area back to my Optimum No Rinse. So I have 2 different towels, 2 different products, but on 10% I'm using the all-purpose cleaner, and on 90% I'm using the Optimum No Rinse. Okay, that's really what makes the most sense. Now, some of you guys are wondering, okay, well, if I don't have a bunch of maintenance clients, how does this speed me up? Here's what I figured out. You can take basically 90% of most of the vehicles that the average detailer sees, and those 90% of vehicles will fall underneath what I would call the averagely dirty car. And then what every detailer has is the two kind of tail ends of that distribution that are the extremes, the extremely dirty cars and the extremely clean cars. But like, let's just say 80%. 80% of cars falls underneath, it's on a spectrum, but it falls underneath that, at least in some sense, averagely dirty vehicle. The point that I want to make here is that with averagely dirty vehicles, which is most of the vehicles you and I are going to see, even though a lot of detailers are watching this video and they're like, man, I've never detailed a car that was already that clean, and I know you have to build this part of your business, it's all good. But let's just take the cars you're already seeing right now. There is at least probably 30 to 50% of that interior where you absolutely do not have to use the all-purpose cleaner you're using. You're just doing it because you feel like that's the right thing to do because you're a detailer, so you have to use all-purpose cleaner on every part of the interior. Not only do you not have to use all-purpose cleaner, and you could use Optimum no rinse, and you could just have both of these products on standby and switch between them, and it would save you a ton of time for the reasons that I've already described, that it saves time in a maintenance detail. It'll save the same amount of time for the same reasons in an average detail because, again, let's just take, for example, what you see on screen, the backs of the leather seat. In the averagely dirty car, the back of the leather seats don't really need to be cleaned. So number one, if we want to wipe them down, let's just use Optimum no rinse. Number two, and will really get me in trouble, there are certain parts of the interior, even on averagely dirty vehicles, that you as a detailer might not even need to touch at all. And so the question becomes, are you like becoming a hack or a bad detailer because you don't even touch that part of the interior? Or are you actually just a smart entrepreneur and you're catering to your customers' needs because you're not cleaning areas that are already clean and potentially wearing them down or even increasing the speed at which they might fade or discolor, okay, using a caustic cleaner on an area that doesn't at all need it, right? And so as detailers, we've got to start thinking in some level as entrepreneurs who are trying to scale a business, right? Because the bottleneck for so many beginner detailers who are probably under about $6,000 a month is speed. Right? If you could speed up each detail by 2 hours, you would probably be able to take more clients, and then you would be able to, of course, increase bottom line revenue, okay? So that's why I'm just trying to give you guys all these kind of like bits of info for free here, because all of this, if you start implementing this, is going to speed you up. And when you start to grow, then you can start to talk about more interesting things like ceramic coatings and building out a specialty services and tailoring to a much higher end clientele and all that sort of stuff. And I like to help people do that. So I'm trying to get you guys there so that then potentially we can work together to do something like that, okay? And I can help you scale to the next level. But you got to get to this first level first, okay? And so I'm trying to give you guys this for free so you can do that. Now, additionally, the other like main hack that I want to give you guys here, and this is only going to make sense if you're a detailer who has like seen a bunch of cars. If you have not seen a bunch of cars, this statement will probably not make any sense to you. But as a detailer, when you're using an all-purpose cleaner specifically, or any type of cleaner, and you're spraying on something like a door panel or a dashboard or whatever, and that area has some cracks and crevices because of the way it's manufactured and it's different pieces of plastic and leathers that are put together, what you'll find is that some of your suds or your cleaner or your liquid, whatever it is, kind of spills into those cracks. And you'll sit there and you'll try to either blow it out with an air compressor, or you'll try to blow it out with a steamer, or you'll try to shove your microfiber towel into those cracks and try to dry all of it out, or you try to get your detailing brush and try to dust it out, basically. And what I would tell you is that, especially when you're using something like Optimum no rinse, and the door panel here is a good example to highlight this, when you spray Optimum no rinse on a door panel, or even all-purpose cleaner on a door panel for that matter, and you wipe it off and you still got some suds in those seams of the door panel where those pieces come together, leave it. Don't blow it out. Don't steam it out. Don't brush it out. Just move on with your life. What you will find, especially with Optimum no rinse, is that it's going to flash dry, or it'll dry in the sun and leave no cleaning marks. Number two, if you're using an all-purpose cleaner, and this goes for those of you who are just seeing averagely dirty cars, not even maintenance clients, if you just leave the suds, what you'll find is that there's actually no leftover cleaning marks from that happening. So there was no point in you sitting there trying to clean all those suds out or blow them out or stick your microfiber towel into those cracks and crevices to get them out in the first place, okay? Because it was just going to dry streak-free anyways. But we do it because we're kind of like OCD as detailers, which is why we're detailers, right? Because we love the details, okay? But there's a certain sense in which we have to say, oh, I'm wasting my time here. This is not good for my business. Move on, okay? And so, again, when you're using Optimum no rinse, it's really easy to do that because, especially if you're using distilled water, it's just going to dry totally streak-free. Even if it doesn't dry totally streak-free with your all-purpose cleaner, you're going to be coming for that final touch, final detail on the interior after you're finished, and so there's no sense in trying to finish that out, buff that off perfectly in the moment. It is only going to waste your time. Guys, if any of this was helpful, hit the like button so that I know this was valuable content for you, and it's totally free, right? So just click the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. I will link up all the tools and products that I used in this video in the YouTube description box below for those of you who are interested, and some other resources for those of you guys who are just building your businesses. So check all that stuff out in the YouTube description box below, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, remember, a great detailer is always learning, and I'll see you guys in the next video.